I'm Tom Opre, host of Eye of the Hunter on NBC Sports, and I'm here with my good hunting buddy, Pete Brownell, the CEO of Brownells. Now, we've been hunting for 14 days in Old Mexico for the elusive Sonoran desert mule deer and some major league big desert sheep. So, this is the gear we had. I mean, from guns to ammo to optics to clothing, we're going to tell you what worked for us, what didn't work, and what we like and what we don't like. And first, I'm going to start off with clothing. I know a lot of you guys, my base layer, I go with First Light. I just like the merino wool. Even down here in the desert where it gets up to 80 degrees, this stuff is really nice. The t-shirt and boxer shorts, and then when it's cool in the evenings, I'd throw on this little chamois. Really nice stuff, and I really like the socks. The merino wool socks are real good for hiking around here. A lot of people say merino wool in the desert, are you crazy? I tell you what, man, it's comfortable. It doesn't have a lot of odor retention in it, and I just had a good thing. What about your clothing on
Right,
that?
I'm a big fan of First Light as well. I usually have a First Light throw over when I get cold in the morning. That's great.
Sweater.
That's right, that's absolutely perfect. And then when the wind's starting to blow and I want to retain a little heat, I'll throw on the First Light windbreaker. Now, all the gear I've gone out in the big mountains and down here in the desert as well, these things work real well. I've got a sunblock shirt on. I thought that long sleeve sunblock would be important down here. You can kind of see that it is a mess. What's better is something a little tougher, something like that with a little more resistant. I absorbed all the thistles and ticks and all the kind of stickers that the desert presents to a hunter.
Well, it's cactus.
I know, it's
That's
cactus.
the key. Ocotillo, and we've got all cholla that sticks to you and kills you.
It was thick down here, so I would recommend when you come down here a full collared shirt that's pretty dense, not the kind of light stuff.
Yeah, you
Right
need
there.
something here. This is an LL Bean shooting shirt, and it's got a pretty tight weave to it. People thought it might be a little too hot, but I'll tell you what, it was just excellent throughout the entire hunt. The outfitter recommends the Carhartt pants. I did use those on a few days, and then I also have a pair of the Cabela's Ultimate Outdoor pants on, which has worked out pretty well. Of course, you got to watch where the cactus are. You don't need to walk into them because I don't think anything's going to stop
Nothing's
you.
going to stop. But I had the Sitka digital camo pants on. I thought that it would be nice to just have a low sound and low friction type of pant. It wasn't thick enough to handle some of these stickers around here. Carhartts I thought were a little loud, but something in between, something like what you're wearing there, Tom, would be good. A camo set would be great as well.
Yeah.
A lot of these guides out here were wearing Carhartts or something a little thicker because they deal in this stuff all the time.
Yeah, every day these guys are in that. So clothes-wise, of course, a hat with a good brim. We went with these hats here that we have for the show. They're a little hot, but something with a wide brim on to keep the sun off. I've been wearing bandanas just to keep that redneck from being too redneck.
Yeah.
And it really has helped to keep the sun off. And of course, sunscreen. You want to take a good SPF 50 sunscreen that's not, you just got to use it on your hands and face every day because the sun just beats on you here.
So one thing I used to create my own shade was a night scarf. Military uses this, the Afghans have used this. It's something that, in a desert situation, can create your own shade. You can dip it in water, create your own cool as well. Sometimes you're caught out underneath the sun, and it just doesn't present itself a chance to get out of the sun, so I use something like that. So it's kind of just keep the sun off my back and my head and kind of get in the shade, make your own shade.
Definitely works good. The next order of business for us is footwear. I'm a big fan of Kenetrek. I brought my Kenetrek Mountain Extremes. I know Pete wore his Mountain Extremes. The rocks down here, you've got old granite, and the granite here is crumbling apart. There's a lot of sharp edges, and it just rips up your boots. And the Kenetreks worked really well. I wanted to be a little more quiet on my deer hunts, so I actually had a pair of stalking boots I picked up in Namibia this year, made out of hemsbuck. They don't have a real steel shank on them, and boy, at the end of the day, my feet hurt. But they were really quiet.
Right.
But I really recommend, especially if you're going after these sheep, get a good pair of Kenetreks or a good mountain boot with a good sole to it, good tread. So because a lot of this is real. This country's got a lot of slate, a lot of broken rock in it, and you're going to slide and it's steep. So
Right. So my Kenetreks took a huge beating on this hunt and hiking around. I liked how stiff it was, but it was too tough of a sole. It didn't grip the rocks like these soft shoes your shoes do, and a lot of the guide shoes do. So it was too tough. It's made more for the big colder mountains, not down here where the granite's really rough and everything kind of rolls on you. It didn't grip as well. And also, you can kind of see how rough it is on the tip. Every time I'd get to a certain point, I'd kick a rock out, and that's just not what you want when you want to be sneaking up on an animal, especially coos deer. So even though it was great height and great support in the ankle and great support along the footbed, a softer sole would have been better for me.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's a tough one. It's a tough environment. It's tough on you as the hunter, and it's tough on your gear. The other thing that is really paramount to hunting these deer and these sheep are your optics. And we chose this year to go with some Leica Geovid 10x42 binoculars. They're really great for just doing general spotting. I mean, for me, I can see an animal out to about 1,500, maybe 2,000 yards, depending on lighting conditions. But what I really like about this, and it's really what Leica really is the trendsetter on, is the rangefinder built into the binoculars. A lot of other outfits have it. I strongly recommend, if you're gonna hunt pretty much anything these days, that you have a good pair of glass with rangefinders built into it. Now, we also used the Leica Televid. This is a 60 power straight spotting scope, and it worked really good for any time we were in a situation where we wanted to really do trophy review and be able to see if that buck or that ram was worth going after, because this is some tough country.
Right.
Our guides also, they spent a lot of time out looking through glass. They had some pretty crazy stuff. I mean, I've never seen those Howas before, but I mean, they had some binoculars that would just, I mean, they were what, 24 power or something like that.
They went way out
regular
there.
binoculars, got to sit on a tripod. You know, one of the great tools that I use all the time, because you're spending literally hours and hours and hours every day glassing, is I brought a set of shooting sticks. And basically, I'm able to set these shooting sticks up, be able to put my binoculars on them, and just have a nice, steady picture, and be able to really, because a lot of these deer, and especially the deer and the coos deer, they're going to be in some thick brush, and you may only see a flick of a tail or an ear or that little bit of glint off a reflection off an antler. And if you're constantly holding these things, there's just no way to have a steady picture that you can really dissect what you're looking for in that image. Now, I mean,
I'd agree
the
with you on that.
rangefinder, I mean, it's...
I'd agree with you on that. Because you're looking a long distance. You're looking 2,500 yards, and it's hard to judge distance out here, because we in the Northwest and the West, a cactus is something it's a 6 foot tall cactus. Out here, they're 30 feet tall, and you got some big mountains, so it's tough to judge distance. This quarter mile that we thought we would be hiking, it turned out to be a mile. It's hard to judge distance, so rangefinder is critical in the big mountains out here, because you just can't judge it coming down here right from the Midlands, right from the Midwest. You've got to be able to have a good judge on your distance, otherwise you're going to undershoot, and that's not a good thing, because the animals are giants out here.
A couple other things that I use for optics. Meopta makes an adapter here for an iPhone, and it actually fits right over the eyepiece of my spotting scope and allows me to shoot pictures and video, just standard, fare on your iPhone. And it's pretty cool. It actually gives me a chance to shoot something. It gives me an opportunity to share with people the animals we saw that day, and basically you can make a decision. You got to go back and study those pictures and say, hey, is it worth going after that animal?